Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we're going to be checking out another track from an act named Reskyou featuring Ryan White Maloney and Heather Lee Spires, titled Highway Love Song No. 2. And if we switch over to here, we have a track that just dropped on August 17th, it's August 18th today. I'm listening through this, at least in New Zealand. It might still be 17th in other parts of the world. We're going to listen through this track from start till finish. We're going to hear what we think. Let's go. Typical production quality that I expect from Reskyou at this point. Oh, so that's Ryan. Yeah, it's definitely that country vibe to it, eh? Yeah, Ryan's the vocalist, so that's cool. Great slide guitar here, call and response.
This ain't the fun life. I always wanna know. I ain't got no love tonight. Lord, all I wanted was to give my heart to someone that can love me back.
This is kind of like acoustic rock kind of vibe, isn't it? The drums with the bass and the guitar and the clarity of the vocals and the limited compression, the post-production studio side of things. This is some good stuff.
Yeah, this highway never ends, just goes on and on. No, I'll never find love this way. It makes me wanna cry every night, just wasting my whole damn life away. But the road.
You know, I kind of dig this. We've gone on a real kind of thematic roller coaster story. It's been a wild time because we started with Attention and then If Life, Other Side, Love, 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 and we got, again, track number 5 today. And it's just really cool to see so many different angles explored in these tracks. Oh, fantastic way of finishing that harmony now. It was so effortless. Both of these singers are very competent. You can just tell they've really performed and recorded it well, you know?
This ain't the fun life. I always wanted, no, I ain't got no love tonight. But all I wanted was to give my heart to someone that would love me back. Love me back. Yeah, this highway.
Oh, it's just charming. It's great to hear both sides, both perspective of the track, you know, like it reminds me a lot of like the kind of like the folky stuff from the mid 2000s, early 2010s. And that organ in the background is a masterstroke. You know, just that little bit of extra coloration from a different texture in there really elevates it. Damn, okay. So my take on this track so far, and we may get a little bit more context later on, is it's talking from both their perspectives about life on the highway, you know, finding romance as you go along, that highway trucking, that kind of stuff. And it does sound kind of sad, you know, but I guess you just gotta be pragmatic. You gotta make them miles, right? Gotta balance what you need versus what needs to be done. Interlude? Okay. Interlude. So are they eventually trying to find a place to settle down together? Have they realized that moving forward is kind of redundant? Maybe they should just stay where they are with each other. Nice twist in this part. Oh, have I misinterpreted it? Oh, the road keeps calling us back. We've got nothing to say. Oh, I get it now. I understand it. Cool. I think I've just been taking in everything at little bits. Like I typically start with the instrumental parts, the accompaniment and the production, all that. And then I figure I get the story as I go along. I think that's the twist in the tale. They are not wanting to go back to the road at all, you know? It's calling them, but they got nothing. Yeah, they got nothing to say. Because this is my conclusion to this review of Highway Love Song 2 by, again, Reskyou, Ryan White, Maloney, and Heatherless Spirals. Heatherless Spirals. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Great track. I mean, I've had a go at figuring out what it is along the way. I think they've just found an affection for each other, the two different singers having that duet at the end. Getting together for that last chorus is very meaningful because it shows they have come together, they have articulated the feelings for each other. And they've just, I think they've just given up on the highway. No matter how much it calls them, they've just got nothing to say, right? That's kind of beautiful when you think about it. Maybe the Highway Love Song 2 is a sequel to the original, where we sort of discuss maybe they found each other in the first one, and then they realized, no, we don't want to make the same pass twice. We don't want to make the same mistake. So we're going to make this work this time. And I think that's gorgeous. I think that sentimentality is wonderful. I'm sure a lot of people will be able to relate to that, you know. Life is, it's like being in a bullet train sometimes. You're going a million miles an hour or like rocketing to space, and it's just, sometimes you need to be able to slow down. It's difficult to do it. If you do get that second chance, you don't take it for granted, do you? What else do we like about this? Personally, I really appreciate the vocal performances from both Schumer's Ryan and Heatherless Spirals. Great choices there. Fantastic work. Legitimately, I get the impression when I listen to these two that they have such great chemistry that it almost sounds like there's something between them. It's just such a believable dynamic between these two vocalists. Vocal techniques are absolutely stunning. You know, like they're very comfortable within their ranges, you know, showing great understanding legato and vibrato and those wonderful little trips and tricks they can do as singers. The harmonies come together really sweetly, and I've got nothing but love for that. And ultimately, with their understanding of not only how to sing with each other and hear each other properly, but also just the connection they have. I think not just the story, but a lot of people will enjoy hearing their little fluctuations and the journey that they go on together. It's nice to hear Ryan first and then Heatherless Spirals second to get their views on it, and then for them again to come up together at the end as a nice conclusion to that. And I genuinely don't think they could have done anything to improve their vocal performances. Every single note was hit really well. So I mean, with the vocals out of the way, we just have the structure. I mean, the structure of the track, if I'm honest, fit really well with the story that was told. Because again, you had, you know, for the fun of time, because I know I'm repeating myself a little bit, you had the male vocalist and the female then the same. Classic kind of love tale there. It's great they get together at the own. It works. People are going to enjoy and relate to that. But additional to that, I suppose, situation we have is that we also it was just such slick transitions between those different parts, you know. We had the instrumental intro, and then we just had it finish with a gentle goodbye from the singers. And what more could you need? I feel as if any more added to this track would have been filler, primarily because the story was so told and things were so tight. It just would have been a shame. It just would have been a shame to add more, because I think we got what we needed out of the 3.5 minutes. The main motif, that hook section, you know, worked with those open chords and triads and some slide guitar bits in the organ coming in. You know, the bass and drums as well, nice and foundational with the 8th note accent on the hi-hat and the quarter note groove. Oh no, there'd be an 8th note groove. You did have some 8th note kicks. Generally, like, honestly, what more do you need from these musicians? You know, there were little lead parts and bits of ornamentation there from the accompaniment, but outside of that, it's almost like we had enough from the singer. It's one of the few times where I've had like a lot of secondary layers instrumentally, been like, no, we don't need more than that. It's a bit difficult sort of balancing act between having enough of a story and compelling sort of performance from the singer, whilst also making sure that the rest of the accompaniment have a nice chemistry with that and blend well together. I think that we nailed it here. It felt, we didn't oversaturate with those lead melodies either. If they were panned, they were typically panned, or they were within a similar frequency spectrum to kind of highlight and sort of bring forward the vocals, if that makes sense. I just think some of the simplicity with some of the accompaniment as well, like we didn't have any really crazy ornamentation aside from a few like little kind of finicky slide guitar parts. I think that simply made it more digestible. And in a way, I think it allowed the relative straightforwardness of the vocals to come through in a way that'll be more easily accessible for people and listeners, regardless of whether they're into a specific type of music or not. Finally, the production, recording, mixing, mastering was great. You know, nothing but love for it. We have a Reskyou here, again with Ryan and Italy Spires. And getting these different musicians together to collaborate and work together on it is one thing, but to then also be able to bring out their best sort of merits and the talents in that studio side of things is another thing entirely. You know, when you're working with different singers, you have to make sure you treat them correctly, both in the recording process and also mixing and mastering, and you know, getting that EQing right and the stacking of things in the frequency spectrum, and you know, not only that, but getting the different singers to set well with the various instruments and the different ranges that they are is another thing, and getting them to stand out, especially when you do try to elevate certain ranges by having more than one instrument there to make it especially stand out. That again is another difficult balancing act, but I think we managed to nail it with this. As per most of what I've listened to from Reskyou, the EQing, stereo panning, effects change on the various instruments. I love that the vocals weren't oversaturated with effects. They had a little bit of reverb there and a bit of compression, but aside from that, they're absolutely just, it was what it was, and you just had to nail those performances, and they did that. The glowing and the actual leveling of the instruments in the mix was phenomenal, and the limiting compression was just absolutely where it needed to be. I am endlessly fascinated by Reskyou, primarily because they're one of the strongest acts that I've listened to in recent times, just in general, and it makes me wonder how they're doing what they're doing and what their end game is, what their direction is, whether they're simply kind of feeling around at different things at the moment, or they've got a sort of niche sort of way they want to and conduct things with their career. Whatever they've put forward, even if there's been different ways of interpreting it, it's been great. And I look forward to listening to more from them in the future. But thank you very much for watching my review of Highway Love Song 2 by Reskyou featuring Ryan White Maloney and Italy Spires. Hopefully enjoyed it. If you did, please do go and show Reskyou some love via their various social medias and their Spotify page. And stay cool and stay safe. And please also remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.